Welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to take you through my business journey of what I went through, what I learned, so that you can learn from it. But I think when I have this conversation here, it will reach many people and they'll be able to learn from my business journey. It has not been easy. Sometimes it's interesting, sometimes, but you learn a lot from this journey. You learn to be resilient, you learn to be persistent, and it reaches a point where you feel like you should never, you feel like giving up. But at one point, to just change your mind, like you have to keep on. And today, I'm going to talk about trusting an employee. And this one, I'm going to talk about it through experience. So, should I trust my employee? I tend to trust somebody from day one. I always see the potential in somebody before a person sees that potential in them. And that is a weakness that I'm really trying to work on. I'm not saying that you should not trust somebody, but I think it should take time to learn this person and to really know whether you can trust this person. And on top of that, there are many other factors that have to be put in place because temptations are there for everybody. And then also, if there is some lack of value or there is some need, it can force somebody to do some things that are not really necessary. And I'm going to give you a story on what happened when I trusted one of my employees. I remember we were having a project, and by then the company was really struggling and had reduced on the number of employees. And I had an employee that I delegated. I usually delegate, and because I believe in growth, and I believe the more sometimes you have to learn it the hard way for it to stick. So I had a conversation with my employee, and I told her, I want you to grow. At the moment, the company is struggling, and this one is a project that we cannot miss out. And we are scarce, but I'm handing it over to you. You learn it by practically, but I'll give you direction. But I'll not be there most of the time. And I think that time I was in a very bad state mentally. So I handed over to her, and she convinced me, like, oh yeah, I'll manage this project. And I remember we had agreed with her, though we did it verbally, which was wrong. It's actually supposed to be in writing so that they sign this is the agreement. But in our HR manual, it was there that whenever you exceed in a project that you are delegated to, there's always a bonus at the end of it all. And I put it across to her like, if this project can succeed, I'll, you'll obviously get a bonus. Yes, we were also learning then, but I don't think even the learning should have brought in these issues. So what happened? Most of our projects we do them at client sites. So I delegated to her, and we would have meetings at the client site and analyze what went wrong. Yes, the project had some hurdles because there was a lot of pressure from all sides. And I always believe if if I am to protect you, that is a belief that I discovered was wrong because sometimes what you think might not be what it is. And this one I've learned it the hard way quite a number of times, but in different circumstances, which I'll talk about in this channel. So I gave her the job. She started doing the job. As you know, SMEs, you as a non of a company, you tend to juggle many, you do many things, which, and by then we had reduced the staff, so there's some things which I had taken out. So what happened? We took in some casual staff, and she was managing them. And that time we were also having some cash flow issues. And yes, because the client that had given us this work, we always ask for money. There's always we were trying to manage by asking for a deposit prior before we start the work. But the client had said that he has to build trust before he gives in money. So we had to work for some time just to convince him that we can do the job before they put in the deposit. So we struggled. We struggled. So we struggled. Mistake number one. What I did, we had the number of staff, we recruited the casual, and What I used to do is now I used to send money. That there was no process. There was no process at all. I would send money to her directly. Yeah, and that was error number one big error. And she was the one to, after doing the math, she would pay the staff on site. Oh, we had talked about having lunch. They have to be given their payment every week, and then they are given their lunch, so that they can buy their own lunch on site. So we continued working, and due to the nature of my work, I got very busy. So when it came to every week, I would share money. There sometimes it would delay because the company was struggling and the client had delayed in sending the money. Yes, there was a lot of commotion. That one, what I really don't know is whether it was instigated by her, but that one you'll know at the end of the story. I've never discovered, but there was a lot of people refusing to work. The feedback that I got would even go to site and have meetings and really understand what was happening, and telling the telling the team to be patient, because 1 week I don't think would make a difference. Yet at that time, people would even stay for 2 months, but this was just 1 week, and already there were squabbles about they need the money to do things with it, and up to a point where they even refused to go to work, and which I thought as a supervisor she could have managed to work around it. Yes, maybe I was wrong. Maybe she was not prepared for this, or maybe I should have done it in a different way. But at the end of the day, these monies were paid. So later on, after some time, after the project had gone on for some time, because now we had given a certain period to complete the project, but the client insisted he would want it in a shorter time factor. And there was a lot of overwork. We would work long hours and try to manage so that we can complete the project on time. So one time, and this has made me learn to listen to that inner voice, my instinct, because when I always ignore my instincts, things always go the wrong way. And this was one of them. So one time I told the accountant that I want him to pay the staff at site directly, because I was not feeling comfortable with sending the money to the supervisor to pay the others. And the debate here was, when I talked to our accountant, that I want you to handle this. I want you to send to the staff on that side money directly to their M-Pesa accounts. Because before, the excuses were that the M-Pesa had Fuliza, or that some did not have funds. All hell broke loose. The accountant, the accountant was puzzled. He was wondering why everything was tantrums were being thrown. Uh, he was being told this cannot work out, that those people they have Fuliza, some don't have funds. He was really pushed to an extent that he had to come back and tell me, no, Jackie, I think you should just go back to sending that cash the way it was. And I told him, you know something? It cannot be that way. We cannot work with somebody's demands. We have to work and realign our processes, because we are still also setting up systems so that everything flows. And if that is what is going to happen, that is what is going to happen. So whoever does not want to be paid through their M-Pesa, then we let them go. We'll get in somebody who is okay with M-Pesa, because these were casual staff. So we put our feet down and insisted it's either you get the money through M-Pesa or no way. So the accountant had to go to site and write everybody down. They have to sign, because I remember we were even telling her everybody has to sign the money they receive. And it took her a week to convince her to give her that list. She refused to give her that list for these people. The signed list, like that list of, after everybody has received the money, they sign. After everybody has received the amount, they sign. She, at the end of the day, she ended up not giving us that list. And that one was another red flag, because we were wondering, why can't they sign the money they've received? there's something that is not right. So when we insisted on sending the money to these people direct, the accountant the next time took the names of the people who were outside and started sending them the money. And you know what we realized? Nobody complained about Fuliza. Nobody complained about having no phone. Nobody complained about extra money for withdrawal charges or anything. Everything went quiet. And that is when we realized things were wrong. After further investigations in that space, we realized the company was even giving them a lunch. So the lunch that we were giving the team aside, what we don't know is whether they were receiving this lunch, because they were being given good lunch by that company. So this extra that was being given for lunch, it seems it was not reaching this team. So I had to really bring it up to fore, because now this one had to be sorted out. Yes, the project got completed, and we had to have this discussion. So I had to ask her if the company was offering lunch or not. That now I had to really I wanted to really know what was really going on, why the tantrums, why the lunch lies, and yet one of our values is honesty. So I asked her if she was honest, and she was like, "Yes, I was honest." Then why did you tell me there was no lunch? She didn't have an answer. Why were you insisting you want the money in cash? She couldn't answer. I had to let her go. But I knew this was happening because one, there was no process. Two, in financial matters, two people should handle cash. Money is tempting, very tempting, despite. Yeah, so maybe she was tempted and she thought she would play the company despite the company's struggles. And she knew the company was struggling. But everybody thinks about what is in it for me. So maybe she thought about what is in it for her. And she never cared about the company. So what I can ask is, should I trust my employee 100%? I think you can, yes. But it should take time, and also have systems and processes in place. Especially for the financial, it is key. It has to be signed by several persons. It has to be signed by the person receiving the money. It has to go through a process to remove the loopholes that somebody can use to siphon money from the company. It will bring your company down if you don't put in these things in place. So what I can advise is, letting one person handle money is a very risky affair. So it's better to take precautions first before it hits you hard. So that is one of the lessons I learned about not trusting employees 100%. It will take time. Take time, learn her or him, and then now you can see how to go about it. And I've had crazy stories, even from my networking, from friends, from other business people. They have horrid stories about what really goes wrong when it comes to money and